All right, everyone. Well, last up for today, but certainly not least, is Ahmad Doroudian, CEO of BetterLife Pharma Inc., which trades under the symbol BETRF on the OTCQB and is an emerging biotech company focused on the development and commercialization of cutting-edge treatments in mental disorders and viral infections. Welcome, Ahmad.
Thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. You might come a little closer to the mic or turn it up just to make sure, but yes.
Okay. Let me see if I can get my webcam working.
Much better.
Okay.
Take it away, Ahmad.
Thank you. I'm trying to get my webcam to come online. Can you see me?
No, not yet. But we
Oh,
can hear you, and that's what matters.
okay. Thank you. Thanks for having me and organizing this. Uh, the presentation that you see in front of you, we are BetterLife Pharma. We are listed on OTC Bulletin Board and CSC in Canada. Our symbol on the OTC is BETRF. We are a biotech company that is developing primarily two programs, clinical stage. We do have your standard disclaimer and forward-looking statements and risk factors, which I share with you at the end of the presentation. We have three assets that we are developing, and they are both exciting fields right now. The first one, which is a recent acquisition by the company, is a second generation psychedelics group of products. And we are very excited about this. As you know, mental health is a growing, it's always been with us, but is a growing concern and is getting worse with the advent of COVID and the pandemics. In fact, recent conferences and health experts refer to an upcoming global mental health pandemic. So we're excited about this product. This is what we call a differentiated asset, second generation of psychedelics, which is different from all the other psychedelics that are out there, in a way that it does not have hallucinogenic effects. So this product we've designated TD0148 is an analog of LSD that has the same indications and same effects of LSD for treating depression, but it doesn't cause the hallucinogenic effects. We plan to start a phase 1/2 trial later this year. We have patent protection around the manufacturing of this, and essentially it's an exciting way for us to manufacture a psychedelic analog without it being classified as a psychedelic or a controlled substance. The second program, which involves two products under the AP003, is an antiviral product based on interferon alpha 2B, which is for the early treatment of COVID-19 infection and on the high dose, and then the low dose is for the for prevention of virus infections and other pandemics, which we know will be here with us in the coming years and decades. We do have a patent pending process for the manufacturing of interferon alpha 2B. It's a very potent antiviral, and we're excited to advance these two programs in the next few quarters. So as I mentioned to you, our first product, our first program on the psychedelic compounds, it has the benefits of LSD without the psychedelic effects or hallucinations. This is quite important. As you if those of you who are aware and know about the space, you know that this is quite a big issue when you have the treatment with hallucinogenic psychedelic products in a way that you're going to need a lot of care and therapist or a doctor overlooking what you're doing. And and also a lot of regulations, 8 or 9 different kinds of permits. So it's quite prohibitive to do trials or testing on these compounds. As our approach is really, and the second generation compounds, is that these compounds address the same unmet needs of mental health, wellness, and so on, but they don't have the hallucinogenic effect. So our first product, TD-0148A, which we are developing for the major depressive disorders treatment, is analog of LSD, 2-bromo-LSD, originally synthesized by Albert Hofmann, the chemist who was the inventor of LSD. And this is second generation molecules and has the same benefits of LSD without psychedelic effects. So there's no tripping, as they say. Second product, DHHB, this is for the treatment of sedatives and anxiety disorders. We just filed a provisional patent for the use of this. It's coming from various, it comes from a plant, and we plan to get this thing off the ground in a clinical stage, clinical path later this year. So this table that you see is really what I was talking about in terms of advantages of our treatment over others. So TD-0148A in the column to the left in green, as you see that it's not a scheduled drug unlike psilocybin, LSD, and MDMA. It has had, just like those other ones, multiple formal human studies. So it has shown effects in humans. It does not have hallucinogenic effects, unlike psilocybin and LSD. And in terms of list one precursor, in any kind of substrate or precursors you need to make it, it does not have any scheduled list one precursors. And under UN Convention of illicit drugs, again, it doesn't come under that convention. We cleared this with Health Canada in a way that they have confirmed that this is not a controlled substance. Now, most importantly for us, if you look at the second to last row, patient administered. Right now, what we envision is completely different from current products under development in the psychedelic space. All the other psychedelic drugs will need to be monitored when you're taking them by you'll be under the care of a physician or a therapist, and you have to you have to be in the clinic so that because of hallucinations you're under careful monitoring. What we envision is our product would be pharmacy dispensed. So in a sense, because there's no tripping, you'd get a prescription, you fill it at your pharmacy, and you go home, and depending on the label instructions, you administer that yourself. It's a huge difference and a cost savings for this treatment. Regulatory hurdles, again, because of non-hallucinogenic approach and not scheduled, we envision a very low regulatory hurdle. Market opportunity. This space, as I think some of you who've been following the psychedelic space and psychedelic companies, is huge and growing. I think mental health and mental health wellness is becoming more and more. It's growing market. I mean, partly because people are talking about it. People are not shy to say I'm depressed or I am anxious, as well as significant percentage of increase in this in depression and so on because of pandemic, social isolation, and so on. So we see the market opportunity in the billions of dollars in the coming years, and we're positioning ourselves as one of the best opportunities for patient administered, self-administered product to get on the market. So now I'm going to talk a little bit about our second product under development, which was really our original product. It's been under development for about 4 years, and this is interferon alpha 2b, a very potent antiviral agent. Until the end of 2003, we were working on the development of this product for the treatment of HPV infection, which is a virus that causes cervical cancer. And when COVID hit, we reformulated it and brought in global experts for COVID and SARS-related type infections, that we developed this formulation for to be administered through the lungs and through an inhalation, and it was shown to be very effective in treatment of COVID-19 indications. So here's a pipeline. As I mentioned to you in the beginning, for the treatment is a higher dose. This is for early COVID infection at the start, in the first 5 days when you are tested positive and you show symptoms. This is a product you take home, and it's again administered at home through a nebulizer or an inhaler, and you administer it twice a day and night. And it was shown in a study in Wuhan early 2020. Subsequent study in Southampton, UK, inhalation of interferons is been very effective in improving these patients and reducing the symptoms. Excuse me. The low dose, what we envision the low dose to be, is for the prevention. This is before you actually get the infection, and we're very excited about this. We've been having discussions with experts in terms of how could this help. Imagine if we had this at the onset of COVID with frontline healthcare workers, military, police, hospitals, schools. If we had this product and it was administered to teachers and other people who have to deal with the public, it would have significantly reduced the number of infection and prevented many, many thousands of deaths in the United States. So why AP003? We know that SARS-CoV-2 viruses cause COVID-19. We know that these viruses block interferon production in infected cells. And it's really through your lungs. Out of 450 different treatments for COVID, only 10 or 11 are targeting the lungs. And only 2, us and a company called Synergen, are using interferon inhalation. And when you think about it, where does the virus enter the body? Not in your kidney or liver or heart or other organs. It enters through the lungs. So it makes a lot of sense to go after this virus at the mode of entry. So we know now that for some preclinical data and some data that came out of Wuhan and Southampton, treatment with interferons overcomes the blockade of the interferon production that's done by the virus, and then restores cells to normal antiviral activity. And we believe that interferon alpha 2b is a potential for COVID-19 treatment. And this one, AP003, is given by inhalation at the first sign of COVID-19, and following projected outcomes according to our own clinical protocols, AP003 inhalation applies to interferon alpha 2b directly to the lungs, which may enable infected cells to halt viral replication. So basically, application of interferon alpha 2b enhances production of viruses that then enhance production of proteins that then stop the viral replication. So we believe this would have a significant effect in reduction of hospitalization rate and long-term tissue damage, and huge savings to the healthcare system and economy. So we have a unique market position and opportunity. We have internal rates, internal projections and forecasts that we've done based on the number of patients that we can estimate, the cost and the potential pricing that we can get relative to other treatments for COVID. We think this would create a huge market for us for over $1 billion of implied valuation for either of these assets, 0.3 high dose and 0.3 low dose. So, and one of the things I wanted to discuss that we have a patent pending application for and a composition patent for production of interferon alpha 2b. And I want you to take this as a point of importance that interferon alpha 2b, which could be a very strategic antiviral agent that could prevent pandemics. Right now, there's only two other groups, two other countries in the world. There are only two countries in the world that have large-scale capability production of interferon alpha 2b, Cuba and China. We are setting up our production and scaling up in California. So by the end of this year, we will be the only ones capable of large-scale manufacturing and production of these. We have manufacturing partner List Labs in California to produce this potentially very strategic compound that could not only treat virus infections like COVID, but also prevent it in years to come. So huge applications with frontline healthcare workers and other groups like the military and hospitals and teachers. We have a highly experienced management team. They're really everyone has over 20 some years in drug development from big pharma. My COO and CMO from large pharma in their background, and two new additions, Justin and Patrick, on the psychedelic side, over 20 years experience in developing psychedelics, and Patrick in treating patients with psychedelic compounds. And then we have a highly experienced team on the CMC, manufacturing, regulatory, formulations, QA and QC, with the team that you see in this slide, and a group of advisors that from former FDA deputy director of FDA to experts in pandemics and virus infection, as well as in psychedelics. Dr. Eleanor Fish, the lady in the second to last picture, was the principal author and the principal investigator of the study that was done in Wuhan in early 2020 that studied the effects of inhalation of interferon in 77 patients. So thank you for your attention. As I mentioned to you, we have a disclaimer and somewhat over-lawyered a couple of slides on risk factors. I'm very happy to answer any questions you may have, and I'm sorry my webcam is just not cooperating this morning. It did work yesterday, but maybe I can get it going.
It's okay. You can try while I read off
Okay.
our first question. And yes, we do have a few questions. First question is, what is the timeline for an uplisting to the NASDAQ?
Uplisting on Nasdaq is actually we are currently in discussions with a New York-based firm, and we'll be announcing that shortly. The uplisting process takes some time, somewhere between 3 to 6 months. Obviously, you can't really guess that, but we are a very mature company corporate-wise. We do have corporate governance, independent board members, and audited statements and all the different kinds of. So we're not, we're not in terms of qualifying for a Nasdaq listing. We check a lot of the boxes that are required. So I would say between 3 to 6 months.
Perfect. And can we have an update on the high dose trials? According to the slide, these commenced in October 2020, asking for an update.
Yeah, so update is we have gone through a change in the plans. We were going to start these trials in Australia, and Australia, as some of you are aware, they're quite good at fixing these issues. So the number of patients and recruitment became very challenging in Australia. So we have switched to 2 other centers, and one we're very close of a final approval that will start dosing patients sometime in the next 6 to 8 weeks. We will be making an announcement on that shortly.
All right, thank you. And talk to us a little bit about put some color on the 3 patents that the company was awarded yesterday. Is that correct? And tell me what they are and what are the plans for those patents?
Sorry, which patents?
I believe there were 3 patents which were granted this week with the cannabinoids. I'm reading the question.
Company,
so what are the plans for those 3
I know which ones they're talking about. These are some of the shareholders who have been with our patents. No, we do not at this point actively are advancing these patents in terms of product development, because they're in the cannabinoid space and are switched to psychedelics and interferon. We're actively looking for a partnership for developing these patents, but we consider them to be highly valuable. These patents were acquired by the public company. This is previous to amalgamation with the private co that brought these assets to the table. So our plan is to find a partner and develop these patents through either a partnership or divesting them.
All right. Well, Ahmad, I think that is all the questions we have now for you, but really great presentation, great company, BetterLife Pharma. We're definitely looking forward to hearing all of your updates.
Thank you very much. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me.
Well, thank you all. What a great conference this was. Thank you to all of our presenters. Thank you to all of our attendees for making this first Emerging Growth Conference such a great success, learning about 8 different companies. This complete webinar as a whole will be broken up, and as a whole, it will be made available on emerginggrowth.com/conference site. So make sure you check that out, emerginggrowth.com/conference, so you can rewatch this if you need. That'll be available in the coming days. Please check back too, because we will be announcing the roster of our next conference set for 2 weeks from today, Wednesday, March 3rd, 2021. Here we are in 2021. Lots of great companies to profile. I'm grateful to be here with you all. I'm Anna Berry. I wish you all a great rest of your day and a very productive and prosperous week. I'll see you again soon.